If you like audiobooks or audio shows, check out a free trial of Audible. Just click the link in the description. You are listening to MINDSHOCK True Crime. This is your host, Bruce McGuire.
And Maxwell Powers.
And today we are going over the mysterious disappearance of Kenny Veach, a hiker in Nevada. And this case is as bizarre as it gets. We have possible government conspiracy and cover-ups at secret government bases, aliens, strange interdimensional gateways, possible monsters, or possibly just a hiker who got lost and succumbed to the elements outside of the range of searches. Once again, if you like the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. If you like the video, hit the like button. Feel free to share it across social media platforms like our Facebook page. You can also check us out on Twitter, Reddit, Patreon. All right, Maxwell, what do you think? Have you watched his video? This is a YouTuber, basically. I mean, he was an older guy. I think he was 47. When he disappeared, he only made a couple of videos, but they're pretty interesting, and he seems like a really nice, cool guy, adventurous. He seems just, yeah, doesn't really seem like your classical depressed loner. I mean, he seemed like he had a lot of energy and love for the outdoors and hiking and exploring and adventuring. Did you watch his M Cave hike video?
Yeah, I skipped through it. He ran to a couple of goats and he picked up some pine seeds that were really sweet and uh, gave some survival lessons. And then,
All right, so let's go over the details of the case, and then we'll break down what did or didn't happen. This is a write-up from True Noir Stories, and this is the best write-up on the case, including all the details. It's called Searching for a Cave in the Desert, The Strange Disappearance of Kenny Veach. This was posted August 4th, 2017. It includes most of the available details on the case, and then I'll go over a couple other things as well. On Monday, November 10th, 2014, Kenneth Lee Veach, known by family and friends as Kenny, told his family that he was going on a short overnight trip into the Sheep Mountains in Nevada. And one quick point here, the Sheep Mountains of Nevada, we're not talking a million miles from civilization. This is 20 miles north. This area is 10, 20 miles north of Las Vegas. So it's not hundreds and hundreds of miles away from civilization in the middle of nowhere. Some people think the exact area he went missing in, there's some theorized areas. We're looking at something that could be as little as 5 miles from a road, which is a lot in the desert, but it's not 50 miles, 100 miles out of civilization. So when I first started looking at little excerpts from this case, the mystery factor of the middle of nowhere is not quite there. Yeah. So, and then there's military bases around as well. So the 47-year-old hiker then headed out and never returned home. Kenny's disappearance was as unceremonious as his exit, and few concrete clues were ever found. However, the truly bizarre aspects of the story begin not with Kenny's November 10th hike, but a little over a month earlier. All right, so Kenny Veach was, like I said before, he was a YouTuber. He made a couple of videos. He was into survival and all of these things. He was also kind of a very adventurous hiker. He would bring food, water, provisions, but he wouldn't like to use them. He'd like to see how long he could go without using them. He never used GPS. So for some people, this seems like a recipe for disaster that he would, just go missing. And they did find his cell phone, but they didn't find any tracks away from his cell phone in the search and rescue. Another bizarre thing about this case is how little media coverage there was. I mean, there was almost nothing. And that kind of sparked conspiracy theories that he didn't even exist, and this whole thing was some kind of weird hoax or psyop. So, I mean, even in the Elisa Lam case, there are people that think that. Do you remember going over that or no?
yeah, people, I don't know. I think it's just human. Like, they go through, I don't know, they just have wild imaginations. I mean, I have my own imaginations and guesses, and they just kind of buy into it hardcore. I don't know why, but I mean, I think it's good to have theories and even play around with it too. But you know, to believe in it fully without any evidence is just ridiculous. But I don't know.
Some would argue the opposite. If some would argue that if there's no real evidence that these people really existed or there's a long history of their existence, why would you believe they were real people and not made up identities?
Well, like I said, you can have a lot of theories.
Yeah, but you said it was ridiculous to believe that these weren't real people. I mean,
I didn't say that. I just said that it was ridiculous for people to buy into their own ideas as to what happened, or fully, as if it's belief and true, like as if it's like
yeah, but I don't
as
know.
if it's
I don't know.
as real as this iPhone that
Oh,
I'm holding.
yeah, but I don't know if anybody's going that far. I think people are just questioning, certain people are questioning because Kenny Veach, there's almost no information on this guy. And he's only got a couple of videos. Most of them were uploaded on the same day, I think. And it does smell weird, doesn't it?
Uh, Maybe you just needed more views. Who cares?
What? No, like it's not like his friends and family are all over the news talking about what a great guy he was. It's not like they have this photo albums with. Not that they don't exist; they might exist, but
Yeah,
it's
no one's following up. No one's putting up a fund me. Actually, that's a good idea. Maybe we should fund me or something. But
no. But I'm saying you seem to think it's ridiculous to buy into it outright that he was. If there's not a lot of evidence that he really was an actual real person, and this was not like an assumed identity for a hoax, why would you believe he was just because of one news article? I'm not saying he wasn't. Like Elisa Lamb also like there's not a ton. I mean, there are some. I mean, there's some graduation photographs. There's something there. I don't know. Maybe at the time they were theorizing she wasn't a real person. Those had not been released yet. But it kind of goes both ways, doesn't it? You're just going to automatically assume that because somebody puts up a YouTube video that that's their real identity and that's who they've always been. That's kind of weird too, right?
oh, that's what I was talking about.
Wait, what?
That's what I'm talking about. That's true too. That he never existed. That could be true too, as an identity of Kenny Veach.
Yeah, we're gonna go down all these rabbit holes. So his YouTube moniker was Snake Bit McGee. So in 2014, he posted this video. So on his channel, he posted this video called M Cave Hike on October 17th, 2017. And November 10th is when he left for his trip and was not seen again. So Kenny Veach took a few moments to leave an unusual comment. Under the username Snakebit McGee, Kenny described hiking near Nellis Air Force Base and finding a strange hidden cave. The entrance of this cave was shaped like a perfect capital M. A prolific hiker and brazen adventurer, Kenny is adamant in the post that he always enters every cave he finds. However, upon attempting to enter the M cave, he described his body shaking as he neared the cave entrance. As Kenny neared closer and closer, the vibrating became worse, and he began to experience a deep sense of foreboding. Before Kenny could enter, as he had done with so many other caves so many times before, he was overcome by his fear and hightailed it out of there. After a barrage of questions and criticisms from other YouTube commenters, Kenny would eventually decide to return to the sheep range and try to find the M cave again. As detailed in this article, encountering that cave seemed to be quite a big deal for Kenny, a frightening, life-changing experience. After his first unsuccessful attempt at locating the M cave, he posted the video to satiate social media followers. At around the 1:30 mark, Kenny explains, "I'm looking for a cave that I found and I didn't have," he gestures to a gun in his hip holster. "I didn't have a sidearm when I was here before. And something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt. And it was like, all right, I'm not going to go in there right now, but I'm going to come back someday." He talked to some people on YouTube and told them hey, I'm coming out here, you know, because they kind of called my hand on it. So I don't know if there's going to be anything to it, but it might be interesting. If I can find it, I've got to relocate it. And this is a big mountain range I'm in. The cave's shaped like a big M. It's a big cave that looks just like a gigantic M, and it's about as tall as I am and kind of narrow. And it's stuck on the side of a mountain. So I hope I can find it again. If I do, I'm going in there. I'm going to put on my light, take my gun out, and walk in there to see if I find anything. We'll see. Kenny also at some point allegedly commented the following: the region that I cover is vast. There are many caves. I have been in hundreds of them. The M cave is the only cave I ever feared. I dare any of the people that like to run their mouths on here to join me. Looking at the above comments, it's reasonable to assume that some of the YouTube criticism may have at this point been annoying Kenny. Though he was unable to locate the M cave on this trip, he remained undeterred. Like a bad horror film trope, Kenny soon agreed to find the cave again. He commented, I will have my 9mm with me this time just in case. It's a 10-hour hike, no trails, very dangerous terrain. In a Mysterious Universe article by Brent Swanser, the apprehension surrounding Kenny's endeavor to find the cave is aptly described as having an air of dread. Further echoing sentiments across the web, the article describes how from the beginning of the entire debacle, some followers couldn't quite shake the feeling that, quote, the cave was nothing but trouble, a hungry presence, and if it did indeed exist, it was perhaps a place that Kenny was not meant to return from, end quote. Whether due to supernatural compulsion, innocent curiosity, stubborn pride in the face of anonymous internet criticism, or perhaps for other reasons entirely, Kenny Veach would make his final attempt to find the M Cave on November 10th, 2014. This search attempt was the same hike in which he disappeared. You know what's weird? So you have seen the video. So in the video, if you're looking at it right now, at about 15:30, there's a cave that looks like an M. Are you looking at it?
What's the title of the video?
The M Cave hike video that we've been discussing this whole time.
Yeah, I know, but there's a lot of them.
M Cave hike by Snakebit McGee. His video.
Okay.
The 21-minute, 57-second video. Yeah, at about 15:35, you can see a cave. It pretty much looks like an M.
But they're not the kind of cave I'm looking for. The kind of cave I'm looking for is deep and it's dark and it's shaped it's shaped just like the letter M. So lots of little caves and stuff along here, and it's about I don't see it. The ground, but like
Pause
in an
it
area like this. So I really gotta
15:36.
keep my eyes peeled because I don't want to pass. Just
Pause
like the
the
letter
video.
M.
Pause
Just like
the
the letter
video.
M.
15:36.
Yeah, I mean the opening is like, I mean, I guess you can make it out as an M, but it's like a small little fucking cave.
It doesn't look that small.
I mean, you could fit the trunk of your body in it, I guess.
Looks bigger than that.
I mean, you could look through it, but I thought the M cave was like kind of like huge.
He said
M
it was about as
artifact.
tall as him. It's hard to tell. Did he mean the bottom, the middle part of the M, or did he mean the longest part of the
Uh,
M?
well,
So
I guess there was this. It's not a photo. Maybe it's like a drawing or something that illustrates the M cave. Because someone else from a long time ago discovered it first, right?
no, they didn't. That's your made up story that I couldn't find.
Oh, no one. So no one discovered an
No,
M cave
no. I don't know where
except
you
for him.
got that. Yeah, I don't know where you got
So
that.
he's,
Correct.
so Kenny Veach is the only one that ever saw an M cave in the
In that
history
in
of this
that
planet.
in that area, no one else. There's no information anywhere
Oh,
of anyone else finding it.
huh. Hmm.
So for me, that looks exactly like an M. So some people think this whole thing is a hoax. So if he wasn't meant to kind of show it, I don't know. And so, or
Yeah,
some
but
people,
I don't think it's that, because if it is that M cave that he was talking about, he would have walked towards it and crawled into it.
unless he didn't realize that that was the M cave. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
Uh,
So one of two things: either he did and he wanted to pretend it wasn't the M cave, because he's not supposed to show it on the camera because he's not supposed to find it because it's part of the hoax, or that really is the cave. But if there was if he had some kind of weird psychotic episode, if there was a weird energy weapon used in the cave by military aliens, whatever, if that fried his brain a little bit and it messed up his memories where he remembered the cave as being much larger.
Yo, I just. All right, this is from. Well, this is just the title from the Google search. Um, the M cave is located by Neil's Air Force Base in Nevada. Its entrance is shaped like the letter M. During his hike out by Nellis Air Force Base, he found a hidden cave. Ah, shit, it's not him. Never mind.
This
It
isn't.
doesn't.
This is McGee. We're talking about this is Kenny Veach. That's what you just read.
Never mind. All right, bye.
Yeah. So are you paying attention to what I'm saying?
Something about the if it is that cave, then he couldn't figure it out that it was the M cave.
Yeah. If something fried his brain, whether it was whatever it was, some people think he was on drugs, whatever it was, or if it was a government energy weapon, an alien, an interdimensional energy, whatever. If his brain got fried and that is the M cave, but he doesn't realize it because in his memory it's much much larger and it appears different. I mean, think about it. People with traumatic experiences, they're not guaranteed to remember the experience perfectly accurately.
I see what you mean. I get it.
Yeah, so that's what occurred to me when I watched the video because it seems like that's an M cave. And that place has been searched by a lot of people. Nobody can find the M cave. So either that's the M cave or there is no M cave or it's so well hidden or it was some kind of weird illusion as part of a weapon. Who knows? But it's not really there if it's not that MK. So yeah, it's pretty bizarre. But that was the first thing that came to me is that looks pretty much like an M. I mean, how many caves could there possibly be that look like an M in that area? Anyway, going back to this, so a hidden cave hoax. Those who had unknowingly followed Kenny's tale of his own eventual disappearance from his very first YouTube comment about the mysterious cave were deeply unnerved. However, social media followers also quickly began to question the perplexing circumstances surrounding the disappearance. It seemed to be an unavoidable first conclusion for those following the events. Quite honestly, this case confuses me. His Facebook and photos seem to make this like a legitimate case, but the extreme lack of news articles and any information at all makes me think it's a hoax. I only found one local news article on the guy and a million conspiracy sites about him. It seems to me to be a cleverly created internet hoax, not an actual missing persons case. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I have searched extensively for any information on this case, and all I found were one local news site that was extremely short and a bunch of conspiracy sites. How do we know this actually happened? Okay, so in true modern fashion, many skeptics reiterated the saying, you can never trust anything you read on the internet. Could the whole thing from Kenny's very first casual comment have been an elaborate internet hoax? As of this post, Kenny Veach and the mysterious M Cave have yet to be debunked on Snopes. That's pretty funny, as if Snopes is a standard for anything. But there are very few details available about Kenny's life, none of which are readily available, easily verifiable, and or known for certain. Most of the corroborating information pertaining to this mystery comes from purported friends and family members leaving unverifiable comments on various social media platforms across the internet. In fact, Kenny's girlfriend, Sherion Pilgrim, first broke the news of his disappearance in a YouTube comment. This was her comment. I didn't realize until today that there were comments on this hiking video. I am Kenny's girlfriend that he mentioned in the video. We went on many wonderful hikes together in our Nevada desert. Many of the hikes were 8 or 9 hours long, and we always took beautiful pictures. Kenny left for an overnight hike in this same area on Monday, November 10th. Today is December 10th. He did not return when he was supposed to, and I called missing persons. They have been searching for him and have not found him. I did not want to leave his wonderful video and this site just hanging and having you wonder why he has not responded. Thank you for suggesting the GPS. I talked with him before about using GPS for safety reasons. He just never seemed to want to use one. He just loved being out in the desert and just finding his own way. I am aching with missing his physical presence. Please encourage all the solo hikers you know to use a GPS. You know, it's funny. Like when I hike, I don't like to bring my phone or GPS either, and so I can kind of relate to this guy because
Because it interrupts the whole nature type thing, that whole nature experience, right? Because
you know I
you're
never.
walking around. Your purpose is to go into nature, and you have this highest technology of humans,
Well,
GPS.
I don't really think about it like that. To me, it's more of a convenience issue. I want to bring as little as possible. And also distractions. I mean, yeah, I don't want my phone to go off or people. I mean, I could put it on silent, I guess. But in general, I guess it's kind of dumb. But for me, I always bring as little as possible. So I don't. Yeah, I'll bring food and water depending on the length of the hike. But in general, I don't like bringing extra. Before cell phones were big, I actually had a GPS. I had a GPS device, and I would use it for driving places. But in general, unless I really didn't know the area, if it was a really sketchy area and I was on a time limit, I did bring the GPS. But if I had a full day and the area seemed okay, I wouldn't bring it, which obviously that's a little dangerous. But, and now, like, I mean, again, if I'm in a dangerous area or there's a time limit, or I will bring my cell phone. But depending if it's an area I'm comfortable with, I don't bring the cell phone. So I don't know. I can kind of, yeah, and to your point, yeah, it does disrupt the experience. You don't want your phone going off or anything like that. So, okay, back to the article. The situation does share several red flags with many other pervasive internet hoaxes. Kenny's sudden online disappearance, no easily attainable legitimization of his existence, and a crazy story about something abnormal in the wilderness. Kenny only ever uploaded the 5 following videos to his YouTube account, and they are all very odd. Handsome Cowboy sells himself with his home, posted September 2nd, 2014, 1 hour, 5-minute duration. Quirky and Shark Tank submission, new improved TP holder, posted October 17th, 2017, 1 minute, 17-second duration. Glolar Bear, posted October 17th, 2014, 3 minute, 13-second duration. Shark Tank submission, posted October 17th, 2014, 8 minute, 8-second duration. M Cave Hike, posted October 17th, 2014, 21 minute, 57-second duration. So 4 out of 5 videos were posted on the same day, a few weeks before Halloween. All of the videos except the M Cave search are centered upon him selling something, his house, a product, or an idea. You know what is weird? I actually didn't even notice this before. The other videos are all posted on the same day as the M Cave hike video. Is
Hmm.
that kind of weird or no?
Hmm. Wait, which other videos?
I just said them.
The other videos that were sent the same day as AMK. Well, I don't remember.
They were just inventions and stuff. And then his other video where he's selling his house with himself is September 2nd. So more than a month before, he uploaded an hour video. And then October 17th, he uploads 4 videos, and then nothing ever again.
I mean, they get shot at other days. He just didn't have time to upload them all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I would probably batch my own work too like that. Like I'd be like, ah, man, I'm too busy. I'll just do it in 1 hour tomorrow.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. He is wearing different clothes in the videos, so yeah, he probably did batch them. Okay, Kenny's first video is of him attempting to sell himself along with his house. He proposes the idea of purchasing his abode as a vacation home, but also allowing him to continue living in it as a caretaker. Another video is that of the failed M Cave search. The 3 remaining videos appear to constitute Kenny's attempt at submitting ideas to the popular television show Shark Tank. However, it appears that submissions to Shark Tank are accepted via email applications. If Kenny were serious about getting these ideas on Shark Tank, it is likely that YouTube videos alone would have not been considered an actual submission by the production company. In addition, media did not seem to heavily feature the disappearance. An unresolved disappearance in the Mojave Desert, combined with the kind of paranormal backstory that would make conspiracists everywhere jump up and down, would have seemingly made more than a few headlines. Editor's note: it bears noting that after extensive scouring of the web, True Noir could locate only one local news story and a poorly transcribed news segment featuring the disappearance. This may make Kenny Veach's disappearance the least reported on mystery by legitimate news organizations. To me, that's one of the most bizarre things too. Can you imagine? I mean, most missing persons disappearance, they have extensive coverage time of, and then every year on the anniversary they have extensive coverage. Why is there nothing on this guy?
Hmm. I mean, it seems like probably the best one to interview is the girlfriend and like try to get his background. Like,
I don't even
I don't know.
forget interviews. Why no news stories where like, oh, Kenny Veach still has not been found, like search efforts continue. If you have any,
Oh, like as extensive as like more murders.
there's no coverage. Or even any kind of those true crime shows, they always feature these kind of bizarre disappearances with or without interviews. So it's really bizarre. I think that's crazy. But let's continue on here. Kenny's seems proficient at YouTube, but it's understandable that a 47-year-old outdoorsman may have not fully grasped all of the intricacies of modern internet culture. And regardless of anyone's suspicions, the following details are true. Though rare and hard to find, there are legitimate local news reports which feature Kenny Veach's disappearance and the resulting search efforts. This is an article from Channel 3 News, Las Vegas. Cell phone of missing hiker found near abandoned mine shaft. This was posted Saturday, November 22nd, 2014. Volunteers searching for a missing hiker in the Sheep Mountains have found his cell phone up a canyon and near a deep vertical mine shaft. This is the same mine shaft at the beginning of his video, if you didn't know, Maxwell.
Didn't know what.
Where they found his cell phone was by the mine shaft.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing it on the video, and he was nowhere to be found, and they
Correct.
couldn't find any tracks going into the mountain. Yeah.
Yeah. Kenny Veach, 47, has been missing since November 10th. He told his family he was going to hike in the mountains and planned to return 2 days later. He has not returned. We found his cell phone close to a very vertical old mine shaft, and we can't find another trail. Red Rock Search and Rescue Commander Dave Cummings told Channel 3 News. It doesn't mean that he's down the mine shaft, but we have tracked him as far as we can. We are having our other crews come in from the search areas. Cummings said experts in wildlife and mines are being sought to come in and assist. Several dozen Red Rock volunteer searchers were combing the mountains Friday and early today. An air and ground search earlier in the week was conducted but did not result in any clues to Veach's location. Check back for updates. Okay, it looks like there are no updates. November 22nd. So they were searching Friday and that day. That was Saturday, November 22nd. So they didn't even start the search for how many days? Possibly 10 days. That's rough. There's one more mention also from Channel 3 News. This is Saturday, April 27th, 2019. So this was not even a month ago. There are people who have suddenly vanished, some without a trace. Right now, Red Rock Search and Rescue is keeping an eye on more than a dozen cold cases. So they mention a couple of other cases, and then also Brian Zink, who's with Red Rock Search and Rescue, stated that Zink said recently volunteers were out looking for Kenny Veach. The hiker went missing nearly 5 years ago. He says it's one of the oldest cases the group has been working on. His hope is to give families of cold case missing persons the closure most are desperately waiting for. We go out there just so that we can help solve the mystery and so that we can give answers to the family, Zink said. But it's weird because there's just almost no coverage at all. This is bizarre, man. Like, I'm searching through news searches, and these articles I just read are basically the only thing that come up. How bizarre is that? I mean, there's usually always updates, still nothing, or another search found nothing in all these cases.
And it's like 4 years old, right? 2013 or something, or 2014.
Yeah, almost.
Yes, that's a long time. There should be at least a couple of articles.
There's nothing, man. And also, you know what's crazy? Like all of those true crime shows, like this is the kind of stuff that they do shows about, and nobody's touching this one. Not. What do you think, man?
I don't know. I mean, is MindShock big enough to be considered?
We're not a news station.
Yeah, we're a podcast. I mean, I guess that's kind of, I don't know. I guess we're not, I don't know, prime time yet.
I mean, a lot of people have commented on it. There's a lot of podcasts on it. There's a lot of paranormal website articles on it. There's a lot of forums talking about it. But when I'm talking
But
about news articles, I'm talking about news media coverage, of which there's almost nothing. So this
yeah,
article goes on to say that Kenny is listed in the National Missing and Unidentified Person System, NamUs, which requires submission and authorization and confirmation from local authorities. So that does suggest, I mean that's a pretty good that's pretty good. Although if the local authorities never really verified anything, so he's listed in NamUs as Kenneth Lee Veach, white male, Caucasian. Date of last contact November 10th, 2014. Missing from Las Vegas. Missing age 47, current age 52. Height 5'8", weight 140. NamUs case created on December 9th, 2014. So he was last seen at a movie theater in Las Vegas by other people. And then he called his ex girlfriend, advised her he was going to go camping. He has not been seen or heard from since. Hmm. So, yeah, I mean, again, if the police just took the word, I mean, I'm thinking they might have, they must have had some kind of documents. And he must be, does he have a driver's license? So he drives, because I believe it was referenced that he parked to go hiking. So yeah, I mean, it does seem like this is a legitimate individual, unless all of that's fake. According to a transcript of a local news broadcast, though the actual broadcast could not be located, Kenny's daughter, Victoria, made a public plea for assistance, stating, "Knowing my dad, I'm pretty sure that he probably just hurt himself and he just needs help and he's stuck and needs help." So that's what his daughter said. And then, of course, Red Rock Search and Rescue's official Twitter also said a search was performed. In consideration of the above listed reasons alone, the disappearance of Kenneth Lee Veach appears to be just as real as any other legitimate missing persons case, with a distinct lack of leads, evidence, and national media coverage. YouTube videos and strange cave comments aside, Kenny was a father son boyfriend human being that vanished without explanation. Coordinates unknown. Considering the hoax theory debunked, one dark question hangs heavily over the mystery of Kenny Veach and the M Cave. What exactly happened to Kenny in that remote span of wilderness? According to the only news report, searchers with Red Rock Search and Rescue discovered Kenny's cell phone placed near a mine shaft. Placed. They didn't say dropped. Placed. No body, clothes, or other belongings have ever been found. Red Rock Search and Rescue tweeted, "Kenneth Veach was not in the mine. We have track and new leads." They posted that November 23rd, 2014. So that was the day after the previous article that I read about finding the cell phone. So Red Rock Search and Rescue Commander David Cummings said, "We found his cell phone very close to a vertical old mine shaft. We can't find another trail. It doesn't mean that he's down the mine shaft, but we have tracked him as far as we can. We are having our other crews come in from search areas." Dave's comments bring to mind a few moments in the beginning of the M Cave hike video. Kenny pans down an old and dangerous looking shaft, saying, quote, "This is kinda iffy. I'm gonna step on this thing. It's very old, but I'll just show you down inside that hole goes way, way, way down in there. If you fell, that'd be it. You'd be a goner. It's a long way." Although they did search it and they said he wasn't down there, so I don't know. Regarding the discovery of his cell phone, Sherrion Pilgrim, Kenny's girlfriend, who first commented that Kenny had gone missing, later also revealed the following. The phone looked like it was left on the ground by the mine. His pockets were deep. He would always wear military pants to hike in. They have very deep pockets. Yes, it is very odd that nothing else was found. No sleeping bag, no backpack. What do you think, Maxwell? Is that kind of weird?
Yeah, no backpack, nothing.
Apparently, yeah, he also did not bring his video camera. So if he was looking for the cave, he said he brought his gun, but if he was looking for the cave, he wasn't even planning on filming it. That's another
Yeah,
detail.
yeah, that's messed up.
That's another detail for me, one of the biggest in the case that seems very strange.
Because he's out there to prove to the world that he's not lying, and then he doesn't bring his camera. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. So yeah, some people think he committed suicide or he just escaped from his life. If he's trying to escape from his life, is he going to just leave the cell phone there? The other thing that, of course, is weird is he leaves it right by the mine shaft where he was filming that video. Another bizarre detail, but okay, so here's the full post from Sherry on Pilgrim. I am the girlfriend that Kenny spoke of in this video. There are so many posts. I had no idea until a friend let me know. So many people are wondering what happened and guessing different things. You are heartfelt about the sadness around what has happened with Kenny. He has not been found, and I feel that he probably will not be found for many, many months, if ever. I want to share what I know and feel about what happened so that you might bring some closure and understanding in your own lives. Kenny absolutely loved hiking in the desert. It was his very, very favorite thing to do. We hiked and camped together all over the Nevada desert, sometimes 9 hours in a day. We found many abandoned mining towns, usually referred to as ghost towns by Nevada hikers. We explored many caves and mine shafts. We were always careful how we explored them, but Kenny was a bit more daring than I was. We wore snake guards, sun protected clothing, used walking sticks, brought enough water and food for the hiking hours, and had extra water and food in the car. He rarely drank all his water. We took wonderful pictures of all sorts of things we saw: rusted cars, old falling down buildings, cemeteries, mines, wild animals, tarantulas, scorpions, trees, cactus, and flowers. Our deserts are beautiful if you have a love for deserts. They are not spooky scary, but you have to be careful of the terrain and, of course, bring enough water and food. We always were excited when we saw desert wildlife, like the bighorn sheep in the video. They are stunningly beautiful to see in person in our desert. We would stand quietly still to watch them as long as possible. I was so very excited to see the one he filmed in his video. I want you to know that I do not think Kenny had an accident. I believe he committed suicide. He battled depression for many years and would not take medication or see a doctor. He quit his job a little more than a year before he disappeared. He wanted to see if he could sell his inventions and do what he called cowboy interior design for homes. He bought his first home 5 years ago and had an amazing ability of decorating in this style. He was not successful in getting a business going and was running out of money after a year of not working. He no longer wanted to work in a job for someone else, and his money decreased. He became more and more depressed. He really did not look for another job. In early October, with seeing his depression increase, I said to him, "You aren't going to pull a Robin Williams on me, are you?" This is when he opened up more about his depression and his thoughts, much of his life about suicide. His father committed suicide when Kenny was in his early 20s. When I asked him the question, he answered me with, "If I decide to do it, you will be okay because you are good at the law of allowing." He asked me what I would think of him if he did it. He also said if he decided to do it, no one will ever find me. Is that a bizarre quote, Maxwell? Someone committing suicide, are they really concerned about people? I mean, I don't know. But it seems like from most of the missing persons cases or suicide cases, I don't really recall many where there was emphasis on not wanting the body to be found. Because most people jump off of bridges or shoot themselves in their house or whatever they choose to do, intentional car accident, whatever they choose to do. They don't there doesn't seem to be an emphasis a strong emphasis on specifically not wanting the body to be found. Even the people that just wander into the desert and they don't care what happens to them, they're not specifically thinking, I got to make sure nobody ever finds the body, as far as I know.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, Well, a lot of them want to be found, so they find a letter or something. I don't know. I just
Well, I would think the majority just don't care at that point because they're done.
Well, I think I talked about this before, and it seemed like you didn't like to talk about it, but like these people that clean up hotels,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
they want to be found, so they find a letter and like I don't know, it's kind of crazy.
It's very disturbing. Yes.
Yeah,
So, but or if this whole thing is a hoax, or if he did want to commit suicide, but his last act he wanted to make it some kind of weird, bizarre mystery. I mean, could that account for it? I don't know. So, continuing on with her post, it would be easy to do something like this in our desert with the number of natural caves and mines. He could hike many miles in a day, so there is no telling where or how far he could have hiked during his 3 day, 2 night solo hike. When he did not call me after the third day of being gone, I called missing persons. The search for him started within a couple days of my call. So that's almost a whole week then. That's about a whole week of him being missing. Over 30 search and rescue team members searched 3 different times on foot. One helicopter flyover was done, and there was no trace of Kenny or of any of his camping things. They found his car in the area I told them it would be. They did find his cell phone by the mine shaft in the video. The mine shaft was only about a 4 hour hike from his car. It is my feeling he left it behind so that he could not be tracked from the GPS in it. He also did not take his video camera with him on the solo hike. It was left in his home. So he had no intention of filming anything. I share this with you for 2 reasons. First, so that you have more of an understanding who Kenny was, and to bring some peace or understanding to the situation. Secondly, if any of you do decide to go out into our desert to look for him or the M Cave, be careful and bring enough food and water. Walking sticks are a good idea, and not doing a solo hike. Bring a GPS and make sure that you have let family or friends know that you are heading out for the hike, where and when you will be returning. A search really can't be on a 1 day hike. You would be repeating much of the same hike, just getting up the mountain and then be left with not many hours in the day to do the search. You would need 2 or 3 days at a time, and in the summer or even late spring, this cannot be done because of the heat in our desert. You would not be able to carry enough water. So please be careful. I had many wonderful experiences with Kenny and will always remember them and have a place of love in my heart for him and the wonderful things we did together. I am healing from my loss and look forward to new experiences with desert hiking, camping, and taking beautiful pictures of our desert. Enjoy your adventures of life, and thank you for the kind, loving comments sent my way. Much love, Sherian. Okay, so she seems to think it was suicide. So, what are the logistics here? He left his car 4 hours from the mine shaft where his cell phone was found. And then it's another good number of hours, at least, what, 4 or 5 hours from the shaft to the possible M cave? Because we're talking full day hike
yeah,
here. What are the logistics? I mean, if we're talking starting a new life, does that mean he would have had to have another car ready somewhere else? He left this out. I mean, talking logistics, it does seem kind of strange, and there's no tracks to or around the mine shaft, but they checked inside the mine shaft. Does that mine shaft have other connections that are not visible? Is it possible there's different shafts down there? And he climbed through one either to commit suicide or to get to another area and escape his life. Because there doesn't seem, I mean, although again, if they didn't find the cell phone until 10 more than 10 days after he disappeared or something around there, maybe there were tracks and then they got windswept or whatnot. I don't know. I'm not an expert tracker how long tracks last, but the whole thing seems kind of weird, right?
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
have any theories thus far?
No,
That's alarming. You got nothing.
well, I don't know. It's just, I mean, I don't know. It's possibly suicide. I mean, and the girlfriend is like was really close to him, so she has some intuitions about the whole situation. So I don't know.
That doesn't mean they're true.
Yes, exactly. But like I don't know him, and she knows him, and if there's anyone else to trust, or like at least lean towards a theory that would be it.
Okay, so
So
here's what I really wanted to talk about. The black and white fallacy that if someone is suicidal and they're going to commit suicide, how does that magically mean that they weren't killed by an animal, killed by a serial killer, or something else happened to them? It's like, does the universe magically know, oh, if they're going to commit suicide, that means that nobody's allowed to kill them. That means they're not allowed to have a separate accident. They're not allowed to have any kind of paranormal thing happen because they're going out there to commit suicide. I mean, that's just such a bizarre black and white fallacy that I see everybody fall for online and when discussing missing persons. Even in the Maura Murray case, like if she's going up there to New Hampshire to commit suicide and someone else kills her, just because she was going up there to commit, obviously that's not what I think. I think that's the least likely scenario. But even if that was true, you're gonna just stop the investigation because that magically means that serial killers are just not allowed to kill people that are trying to commit suicide. Like they magically know they're going to commit suicide. And even if they do magically know that, if the serial killer wants to get the pleasure from killing somebody, they're still going to want to kill the suicidal person before they kill themselves. So how does
yeah,
someone being suicidal magically mean that that was their ultimate fate?
yeah, some good points there. I mean, anything could happen.
So even if the ex-girlfriend is correct and he was suicidal and he was going there to kill himself. Here's the other thing, people change their mind too, like when someone's standing at the top of a bridge or they survive a suicide attempt, they regret it. But just because someone intends to commit suicide doesn't mean they actually go through with it. There's so many variables to just write it off as, oh yeah, he committed suicide. That just, it seems kind of illogical even if he was going out there with those intentions. Now, what could the M cave be? If this is some kind of interdimensional gateway, could he have stumbled into it?
Yeah,
So your number one theory right now is suicide, and he's in some kind of undiscovered mine shaft, and his remains may or may not be found. Is that your theory, Maxwell?
um, I don't know.
Good thing you're
Could be
doing a podcast.
suicide. Could be suicide. Interdimensional. I don't really know.
I know that's
Or
why we're just
or
theorizing.
time travel. I don't know.
Time
Could
warp.
time warp probably. I don't know.
Do
Could
you think he
something
made up
else.
the story about? Okay, well let's. All right, let's. Do you think he made up the story about the M cave?
Hmm. I don't really know. I mean, the fact that it was only like 5 miles in from a main highway. Hmm.
Could be 10,
It
5.
makes it. Yeah. I
We
mean,
don't know. We don't know the exact location.
yeah. Um. Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. There's no one else have found an MK. So I don't know. I
But
don't know what to think
what's
of it.
bizarre, it's not just the M cave. Like he said, his body was vibrating, and then he just got real scared. Like it's, I mean, that's really weird. That's really weird. I mean, people have had similar descriptions of foreboding, vibration, just weirdness, extraterrestrial encounters, UFO encounters, possible interdimensional encounters. If he didn't make that up, it seems kind of weird to make that up, but like at the same time, he made a YouTube channel to sell his house. Then like a month later, he posted random videos and then the MK video talking about the vibration
Yeah.
in his weird encounter. Well, it's about to get weirder. So this is Mind Shock. Are you ready for a Mind Shock, Maxwell?
Yeah.
All right. So Kenny Veach, the comment that he left about the M cave, he left this on the video "Son of an Area 51 Technician" interview, which is really, really bizarre. So, continuing this article from True Noir Stories, the long and strange story begins in a barely tangentially tangentially related piece. A website featuring various theories and evidence, in quotations, for the existence of extraterrestrials and nefarious government collusion, SiriusDisclosure.com, has a robust YouTube catalog of interviews with witnesses. They have released 2 documentaries and detail their agenda accordingly. Quote, we are interested in the development of a peaceful relationship with extraterrestrial intelligence, which has been visiting planet Earth for decades, if not centuries. Part of the reason the ETI presence has been kept secret is that one of the first questions would be, how are they getting here? They are not using fossil fuels. It is through zero point or quantum vacuum energy generation systems. And it is those energy systems we want to develop and bring out to the general public so that we may have a world of pollution-free, sustainable abundance. Glancing through the many videos uploaded by Sirius Disclosure, it becomes readily apparent that one video in particular has had an outrageous amount of views compared to the many others. Published on December 3rd, 2013, that's a lot of threes, Maxwell. This well-watched video is called Son of an Area 51 Technician and features the recollections of a rather soft-spoken man named Paul H. Utz. Paul shares his impressions of and stories about his father. Paul's father worked his entire life in a GS-16 capacity for the U.S. government near Nellis Air Force Base and Area 51. He had a high level of security clearance. GS is separated into 15 grades, up to GS 15. Then there are 3 super grades, 16, 17, and 18. Very interesting. In the video, Paul recalls a story that his father drunkenly told him. They had tested a device that was supposed to be a new type of energy source direction, and they had taken it out onto the range, and it had literally blown up when they tried to activate it, when they tried to turn it on. One of the things that my father found interesting was that the energy source had a lot of organic composition within the material structure. My father says it was developed by a university and that it was a technology and that his group and his team were developing it further and studying it further and that it had organic components. It was almost like it had a consciousness. That's pretty creepy. So Kenny Veach actually left a comment on that video. Do you find that strange, Maxwell? This is his comment. I read it before. This ain't nothing. I'm a long distance hiker. One time during one of my hikes out by Nellis Air Force Base, I found a hidden cave. The entrance to the cave was shaped like a perfect capital M. I always enter every cave I find. But as I began to enter this particular cave, my whole body began to vibrate. The closer I got to the cave entrance, the worse the vibrating became. Suddenly, I became very scared and hightailed it out of there. That was one of the strangest things that ever happened to me. So he saw this video about the the son of an Area 51 technician and actually commented on it. That's pretty bizarre, is it not, Maxwell?
Commented on the son of the whatever.
He commented on that video of the interview with the son of an Area 51 technician. That's all you got?
Well, did the video talked about the M cave too?
No, no, man, Maxwell. Nobody has ever mentioned the M cave except for Kenny Veach.
Okay, but why would he? But
Well,
so what was the content of the video? The Area 51 guy.
He's just talking about what his dad did and different weapons, energy source weapons or devices.
And then all of a sudden, Kenny Beach out of nowhere talks about an M cave in the desert.
Yes, where he had an experience of energy vibration and whatnot. But Maxwell, you're forgetting. Kenny Veach hikes in the area of all these secret government bases. We're not talking, it's not like Kenny Veach is in Texas somewhere. He's not that far, so I'm sure he maybe had an interest in Area 51 or some of these things, or has seen other weird things. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe Kenny Veach knows a lot more than he said in the video. Maybe Kenny Veach was hiking there for other reasons. He might have had a lot of information he didn't share.
I see.
So let's go into these ray gun energy weapons in the final part of this article. Known as the home of the largest habitat of desert bighorn sheep in the Southwest, the mountainous sheep range in Nevada is a rugged and remote area. The sheep range is one of southern Nevada's major mountain ranges, and in addition to sheep, it is also home to mule, deer, kit foxes, collared lizards, mountain lions, road runners, king snakes, desert tortoise, and an incredible variety of vegetation. The climate spans from multiple days of sub-freezing winter temperatures to long and dry, sun-irradiated summer days. It is described as offering outstanding opportunities for primitive recreation and solitude. For this reason, though an infrequent destination for tourists, the area is a playground for experienced hikers, mountaineers, scramblers, and canyoneers. These formidable mountains, with the highest peak reaching an elevation of 9,912 feet above sea level, are located within in the Desert National Wildlife Refuge north of Las Vegas near Nellis Air Force Base. The Desert National Wildlife Refuge is the largest wildlife refuge in the lower 48 states of the United States, and the entire refuge is comprised of 1.615 million acres of land in the Mojave Desert. The nearby Nellis Air Force Base is well known for being a component in a variety of conspiracy theories, the most frequent of which usually relating to the base's proximity to Area 51. So we're talking not that far away from these bases.
Yeah, I got you. So that's why they commented on that video that
You'd probably
Area
answer.
51 guys.
Yeah.
Hmm. And what was the replies to that comment? Anything or?
I believe that's the only comment. I think they removed comments to that video.
Hmm.
And he commented that before they were all removed. So I don't know, but apparently people were telling him to go back to it, right? Because that what prompted him to make his own
Or
make
people were
the,
skeptical. Man, you didn't find shit. Your body wasn't vibrating. You're a lying piece of shit. That kind of thing.
possibly, yes. Yeah, comments are disabled for the video. Son of Area 51 technician. It was posted December 3rd, 2013. Yeah. It's a weird.
They got tired of the the comments after his comment.
Yeah, but that might have prompted this whole thing. People saying go back, find out where it is, all that stuff. So, all right.
So it could be anything. So it could be some kind of weird secret government thing, and then they decided to kill him off or something.
Or maybe they abducted him and they're using him for experiments. I mean, okay.
Oh yeah, because his body experienced vibrations and shit like that.
Well, maybe it was supposed to, but they if people thought he was gonna commit suicide. I mean, again, if we're talking government, if we're talking top secret government projects, don't they want people who other people might think are gonna commit suicide and disappear so they won't be as adamant looking for them? I don't know.
Yeah, that's perfect candidate for
Yeah,
experiments.
pretty creepy stuff. All right, so due to the advanced aircraft and weapons systems developed at Nellis Air Force Base, theorists have long surmised that government scientists reverse engineer extraterrestrial technology from the remains of crashed UFO spacecrafts stored at Area 51. Other such theories border on the fantastical and are especially colorful. One such conspiracy theory claims that a species of aliens known as the Tall Whites are actually based inside Nellis Air Force Base. From their long-standing seat at Nellis, these aliens continue to help the United States Air Force develop their technologies in exchange for mineral resources they require on their planet. Pretty bizarre stuff. The actual base is about 40 miles southwest, the Nellis Air Force Base. And then we have Dry Lake. All of these areas are to the west and southwest. Well, I didn't realize Nellis Air Force Base was right next to Las Vegas. It's right on the edge of North Las Vegas. And so this M Cave, people think it's next to a place called Picture Canyon or within Picture Canyon in that area. And it's about yeah, it's roughly 40 miles from the middle of Las Vegas. So, based on Kenny's comments on the video of the son of an Area 51 technician, it can be reasonably surmised that he believed his M Cave experience may have resulted from an interaction with some kind of unknown government technology. Though it may seem outlandish, and it is certainly not the conscious technology described by Paul H. Utz, there are some other rather unsettling deterrent technologies developed by the US government. The Active Denial System, or the ADS, is a weapon developed by the US military for area denial, perimeter security, and crowd control, which heats the surface of targets, such as the skin of targeted human subjects. Deployed in 2010 for the Afghanistan war, the ADS uses a similar principle as a microwave oven, exciting the water and fat molecules in the skin and instantly heating them via dielectric heating. Though it's considered harmless, except by the 0.1% of subjects that experienced pea-sized blisters during testing, one test subject asserted, quote, "It will repel you. If hit by the beam, you will move out of it." reflexively and quickly. You for sure will not be eager to experience it again. In addition, other theories exist about the government potentially using infrasound, a lower frequency sound which may cause feelings of awe or fear in humans and make people feel vaguely that odd or supernatural events are taking place. Though this popular science article ensures readers that infrasound cannot be used to induce head explosions, it does make a very interesting and relevant comment. Almost any part of your body, based on its volume and makeup, will vibrate at specific frequencies with enough power. Is it possible that Kenny found some kind of military-grade deterrent system in the Sheep Mountains? Could the M Cave have been the entrance to a secret testing facility? Making a lone hiker disappear after he wandered around the entrance to a government facility on 3 separate occasions is certainly not the most outrageous conspiracy theory plaguing the interwebs. Alternatively, the military covering up the death of a lone hiker after he was inadvertently exposed to a secret weapon seems less far-fetched than rolling out a massive ray gun in Afghanistan. What do you think about that, Maxwell?
It's good.
You think their likelihood assessment is correct here?
Um,
It's some kind of secret entrance to a facility, to a test facility that's just armed with that weapon, or they're actively testing the weapon and they figure that 1 or 2 rogue hikers going off trail many miles, nobody's going to miss them and they'll just chalk it up to disappearance in the desert.
hmm. Yeah, I don't know what to think about it.
Good thing you're on a podcast discussing the game. You know, the infrasound thing, though, we discussed this on some Bigfoot episodes. If Bigfoot or other paranormal creatures or cryptids or interdimensional creatures, if they have infrasound ability as part of their evolution or survival mechanism or just a trait, was there a Bigfoot or some kind of creature, interdimensional or not, that was giving off infrasound when he was approaching its home or nest?
It's possible.
And the other thing that we have, once again, we can't fall for black and white fallacies here. The other thing we have to consider is if that's true, regardless what happened with the M cave, that doesn't mean he ever found the M cave again. He could have fell down a different mine shaft and never be found, and it has nothing to do with the M cave. Even if the M cave is true, and it is either supernatural or it's an interdimensional rift, it's some kind of a creature with infrasound ability, or it's a secret government test facility that is testing weapons, that could be true, and him finding the M cave could be true, but he could have went missing or died or whatnot somewhere completely different. And it might have, his final fate might have nothing to do with the M cave.
That could be true.
So there's other government bases out there other than Area 51. There is a place, there is a facility known as Area 6. Have you ever heard about this, Maxwell?
No, not about Area 6. What's that?
This is from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, published March 5th, 2016. The asphalt runway stretches for a mile on the Yucca Flat, deep in the Nevada National Security Site, about 80 miles northwest of Las Vegas. That's the direction of Kenny Veach and the M Cave. It's to the northwest of Vegas. So it is closer to Area 6 than these other facilities. Built in 2005, the runway covers a dirt landing strip from the 1950s when the wide, flat valley was used for atomic bomb test shots. A small complex of buildings dominated by a large hangar with unusual clamshell doors dominates the southern end of the asphalt strip. The complex has no official name. Not many people even know it's there. As secret air bases go, the single runway in the test site's Area 6 is easily overshadowed by the world's most famous secret military base, Area 51, a dozen miles northeast. Area 51's existence was only recently acknowledged even after decades of speculation by UFO enthusiasts that the aircraft development and test facility also houses space aliens and extraterrestrial technology. Unlike Area 51, which is protected by shoot-to-kill security and shielded from outside view by mountain ranges, Area 6 has only fences and visitor checkpoints. It can be seen at a distance from tour buses on the highway to historic bomb craters at the northern end of the Yucca Flat. But exactly what goes on at the much smaller and much newer Area 6 is still top secret defense research and development work. It's so hush-hush that the security site spokesman can say little about it. Darwin Morgan, a spokesman for the National Nuclear Security Administration, said that the low-key Area 6 facilities have been used by the Defense and Homeland Security departments. They come here to test their own sensors, he recently said after spending months fending off questions about the Area 6 runway from the Review Journal. Other than a few above top secret forum posts from 2009 and a Wikipedia blurb that cites a 2011 Flight Global story saying the runway is part of an unmanned aerial vehicle test facility, little has been written about the Area 6 runway. Flight Global, an aviation industry website, noted a 5-sentence description of the Area 6 aerial operations facility found in a 7,500-page safety report on the proposed Yucca Mountain Nuclear Waste Project. The purpose of this facility is to construct, operate, and test a variety of unmanned aerial vehicles. Tests include, but are not limited to, airframe modifications, sensor operation, and onboard computer development. A small unmanned chase plane is used to track the unmanned aerial vehicles, reads the report Energy Department contractor Bechtel SAIC prepared in 2008 for the Yucca Mountain Repository License application. The National Nuclear Security Administration is a semi-autonomous branch of the Energy Department. Its Nevada field office, based in North Las Vegas, runs the security site. What it costs to operate Area 6 is difficult to determine. Funding is buried in the Nevada Field Office's Strategic Partnership Program, which was part of the $84 million budgeted for the entire security site in the fiscal year of 2015. Program funding was about 13.5% of the field's office's $622 million total budget that year. The program's activities include research and development of sensors for detecting explosive materials, deadly gases and chemicals, and radioactive sources that could be used in dirty bombs. Biological weapon sources aren't allowed at the security site according to its environmental impact statement. Portable radiation monitors and some sensors used in airports and at ports of entry have evolved from this program. Morgan said agencies in the Strategic Partnership Program take advantage of the security site's restricted airspace to test sensor-equipped aircraft work without public interference or spying from space. We have controlled airspace, and that gives them opportunities to test various types of platforms, he said. Most of the Strategic Partnership money comes from the Defense Department branches, the Air Force, Army, Navy, Marines, Defense Threat Reduction Agency, and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. That one sounds top secret. We do a variety of work for others, supporting people with sensor development activities, Morgan said. It evolved from the nuclear testing program. We had to have very good sensors to collect data in a split second before they were obliterated. Morgan said the Area 6 runway and its apron were built by Bechtel, Nevada, the site's management and operations contractor at the time, at a cost of $9.6 million. The buildings were constructed over several years and cost figures aren't immediately available. As seen from above on Google Earth, the complex is dominated by the clamshell door hangar and 4 small outbuildings connected by what appear to be covered walkways. 2 small modern hangars and an older one used during atomic test days round out the facility. Morgan said antennas were installed to allow ground operators to control the flight of unmanned aerial system aircraft. Looking for evildoers, the National Nuclear Security Administration has kept Area 6 so low profile that even defense industry experts were unaware of it. I had not heard about it, said John Pike, director of globalsecurity.org, an Alexandria, Virginia-based defense information website. Unless he's lying, of course. But Pike's associate, image analyst Tim Brown, has estimated the hangar complex could hold about 15 MQ-9 Reaper remotely piloted spy planes. Pike said the length of the runway suggests Area 6 is used for small planes or remotely piloted aircraft such as a Predator and Reaper reconnaissance drones. Bigger spy planes, such as the jet-powered RQ-170 Sentinel unmanned aircraft system, are flown from the Tanapa test range by the 30th Reconnaissance Squadron assigned to a Creech Air Force Base wing. It's unclear if the Sentinel or smaller versions would be flown from Area 6, but Pike said the runway is too small for large jets and bombers. Takeoffs and landings would be tight for an F-16, for example, and an F-15 would need an even longer strip for safety maneuvers. Pike said aircraft likely in use at Area 6 are best suited for surveillance of hidden targets, weapons, or personnel on the ground. The security site's high desert terrain is similar to what might be found in the boondocks of Libya, he noted. There is a well-founded fear that evildoers are stalking around out there. ISIS and Al-Qaeda, he said of Libya. You have to imagine that trying to develop targeting signatures in this type of mountainous desert terrain, that's got to be a really high priority, not constrained by funding. I can't think about a better place to do it where you wouldn't have civilians stumbling on what you're doing, he said in reference to the security site. So what would stray civilians see if they could stumble in? Pike offers an educated guess. Sensor arrays made up of more than 350 smartphone cameras mounted on an MQ-9 Reaper that can record and archive movements of people and vehicles over an area of about 40 square miles. That's within where Kenny Veach was. It is also known in the unmanned aerial vehicle community as the Gorgon stare, derived from Gorgon monsters of Greek mythology, where gaze was so dreadful it is said to turn a person into stone. While the sensors can't do that, they can keep terrorist targets from evading the sights of U.S. weapons. According to the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency website, sensor development has soared to new heights under ARGUS, or the Autonomous Real-Time Ground Ubiquitous Surveillance Program. The goal is to provide at least 130 independently steerable video streams to enable real-time tracking of individual targets throughout the field of view. The Argus IR system will also provide continuous updates of the entire field of view for enhanced situational awareness, the Defense Tech Agency website says. Pike said improving Argus and similar sensor capabilities might be among the activities taking place at Area 6. The thing you get with Argus is time-lapse photography. If there's a rock out there that's moving, maybe that's a rock you ought to be paying attention to. Maybe it has to do with evildoers. I would assume they have airplanes and UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles. They're flying around out there to see what they can see, Pike said. If they would let me run the thing, I'd tell them to go out and do the best in terms of infiltration, he said, then turn loose the sensors and see if we could find them play hide and seek. Okay, so a couple things here. This whole area was used as atom bomb test site or nuclear test sites. So is there toxic waste or radiation left over that's maybe coming up from some of these shafts through caves? Did Kenny Veach simply experience some kind of low dose radiation poisoning?
That's possible. It's a good theory.
And the other thing is, if they're testing some kind of unmanned craft or drones with infrared technology or some other weapon based energy rays, were they flying around? And is that what Kenny Veach was a target of? And he just happened to be in front of an M cave, and that had nothing to do with the vibration he felt?
That's a good theory too.
Yeah, I mean, reading about Area 6 here, I think falling for black and white fallacies would be a mistake. I think we don't necessarily have because of all of these secret bases and secret technologies, I don't think we can say definitively that whatever he felt was connected to the M cave. Maybe that M cave was the one in the video, but because he didn't feel that radiation or the vibration or the energy, he assumed it wasn't. But the last time he was there, he was being the target of some kind of a drone with infrared technology or energy technology or some kind of energy based weapon. What do you think, Maxwell? What's your leading theory right now?
Um, mm, I don't know. He went hiking and went through some kind of wormhole and disappeared.
So you don't think this technology at this secret air base has anything to do with anything?
Oh, that's definitely a possibility.
The other thing we didn't really talk about that. What if? I mean, this is more unlikely, but what if it's a Hills Have Eyes situation where there's some like genetically mutated freaks out in the caves and the mine shafts, and they live in the mine shafts, and they killed Kenny Veach from the nuclear test site. They survived, and they're
Yeah,
mutated human.
I like that one.
Or
Man,
if it's
you got some movie scripts, man. Like it's amazing.
or or if Kenny Veach kind of stumbled upon a genetically mutated Bigfoot or some kind of a Bigfoot entity that survived the nuclear tests or atomic tests, and is it's all it's an irradiated, it's a genetically mutated Bigfoot.
Dude, all the screenwriters are gonna subscribe to MindShock. They're just gonna gather around, like, yo, man, this guy's got the best stories.
All right, so to round this out, this article on True Noir Stories rounds out this tragic legend. Though the circumstances surrounding Kenny Veach's disappearance lend themselves readily to conspiracists, there is a high likelihood that the reality of Kenny's fate was much more mundane. Many people believe that as a result of his cavalier approach to solo hiking and safety, Kenny Veach ultimately succumbed to the elements. According to a widely reposted quotation taken from one of Kenny's comments on the son of an Area 51 technician video, he said, so apparently he made multiple comments. Quote, my hikes are brutal on the body. After one of my long hikes, some of my toenails turn black and fall off. I lose about 13 pounds of body weight. It takes me about 3 days to recover from the abuse I put myself through, but I love every minute of it. This guy's a hardcore hiker, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore.
By Kenny's own admissions, he pushed his hiking adventures to the limit. In addition, as Sherion Pilgrim first mentioned in the post about Kenny going missing, he did not use a GPS device for hiking. Sadly, the YouTube videos of Kenny trying to sell his home and get on Shark Tank certainly support this theory. A higher likelihood of suicide may also explain the lack of interest by news organizations. And though the possibility of suicide may be likely, no concrete evidence of what happened to Kenny Veach has ever been discovered. If he truly did intend to take his own life on that hike, then Kenny most likely took measures to obscure his fate in mystery. In the process, Kenneth Lee Veach and the M Cave have become a legend recounted by vastly different and passionate subgroups dispersed across the internet. Hikers and adventurers, conspiracists and ufologists, as well as the masses of anonymous internet commentators, are still arguing over his fate. Most followers of this mystery can't shake the feeling of dread or the questions. Does the mysterious and frightening M Cave really exist? And if so, did it have anything to do with Kenny's inexplicable vanishing act? Kenneth Lee Veach would be 50 years old now. Well, this was posted before, so I believe he's 52 now. He has brown hair, brown eyes, 5'8", and weighed 140 pounds. He was last seen wearing a white shirt and blue jeans. If you have any information about Kenny or his whereabouts, please contact Detective Dan Holly at 702-828-5705 or the Las Vegas Metro Police. So yeah, and apparently people also discussing this on this article, the Mojave has many, many mine shafts throughout the desert. So some people think that he didn't. I mean, I think it's more like if his cell phone is by that mine shaft, although he wouldn't go down that mine shaft if he's looking for the M cave, unless the M cave story was just made up. And that was, I don't know. Or something else might have gotten his interest. If he liked watching animals and observing animals, as we can see from the video he posted, if he was possibly following or looking at an animal and got distracted, could he have? I mean, I don't know. He was also very experienced, so we really don't know. But I don't think we can ignore just the fact that there's all these top secret bases in that area. I mean, do you think you're going to just ignore that? It also happens to be where they tested nuclear or atomic weapons, so there's a lot of radiation could still be in that area or underground. Not to mention they could have tested an incredible amount of unknown or top secret weapons with various side effects. So yeah, it's very baffling, and it's very baffling how this isn't covered by the media. If he was just kind of taken by the government as a test subject or killed, testing the weapons, do you think someone high above would have kind of shut down the media, kind of put a media blackout on his disappearance?
That's true. That could be. I like that one.
Yeah, I mean, and like I read in the articles, I mean, search and rescue are still going out there. They're looking for many different missing persons. I mean, I don't really know the likelihood that they would find him if he was really really far out. But that's a small win. I mean, the window, like the radius of where he could go. Although, if no one actually saw him go out, if he was last spotted at a movie theater the night before, and they found his vehicle in the parking lot of wherever he started off from his hike several hours from the first mine shaft, from the mine shaft where he left his cell phone. How do we know for sure that Kenny Veach was the one that drove to the parking lot?
Yeah.
Because he called his ex-girlfriend to tell her that that's what he was doing. So because the last time he was actually physically seen was the night before at the movie theater. It'd be interesting to see if any traffic cams or anything like that picked him driving, and also what was on the cell phone. Because again, this has no media coverage. To go through the cell phone. I mean, was there anyone who kind of, we don't know anything. Did he have any enemies? Did certain people not like him? Did he ever have a dispute with anybody in the previous months before? Because if somebody wanted to make him disappear, I mean, that's a pretty good setup, right? If you have his phone, if he was harmed by somebody, they have his phone in his vehicle. They drop his vehicle where they know he's going to hike. They would have to have known that, of course. So maybe he also sent out a text because he called his ex girlfriend to tell her what he was doing. He possibly might have texted his family as well. So if they have his phone and they harmed him and they know what he's doing or where he's going from, they just drop the car off. I don't know. They would still have to know where he would park, but many, many different things to ponder on another incredibly bizarre disappearance. But we hope you enjoyed another edition of MindShock True Crime. If you like the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Feel free to share the video. Like our Facebook page. You can also check us out Twitter, Reddit, Patreon. This is Bruce McGuire signing off.
And Maxwell Powers.
We'll catch you guys next time. If you like audiobooks or audio shows, check out a free trial of Audible. Just click the link in the description. Welcome to MindShock True Crime. This is Kenny Veach 2, Psychological. We examined this very mysterious and bizarre disappearance in part 1 about an adventurer and hiker, Kenny Veach, 47, who went missing in the area of Area 51 and Area 6, top secret military bases that were near a hiking area of the Sheep Mountain Range. So this is a continuation examining new information, intricacies, and the psychological aspects of Kenny Veach and how they might have impacted his ultimate fate. I am your host, Bruce McGuire.
And Maxwell Powers.
And if you like the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. If you like the video, hit the like button. Feel free to share it across social media platforms. Questions, comments, theories, insults. Just leave them in the comments section. Make sure you like our Facebook page. You can also check us out Twitter, Reddit, Patreon. Okay, Maxwell, since you were paying attention so well in the first episode, do you have any new thoughts on what could have happened to Kenny Veach?
No, not at all. Probably got nothing new. Just probably got lost and dehydrated and passed out and died. Or I don't know. It could have been a fake person. I don't know.
All right, so there's no. It seems like he was real. We went over. I mean, why would there's a missing persons report? There's police reports. I mean, unless they just took the word
I thought you said that there was nothing on the guy. Like there was no. I thought our talk was like there was no articles about him. That kind
I
of
said
shit.
there were two, and an official search team is looking for him as well as other missing persons. So there was a police report filed. He was listed.
Just nothing big media stuff like CNN and that shit, right?
Yeah, nothing big, and he is in NamUs, so he's in the official database It is a sparse entry. There's not a lot of information, but his daughter spoke out and his ex girlfriend. And yeah, there is more information that we overlooked. So, one major thing, so Snake bit McGee, that's his name. So, we never went over why that's his name. Why do you think that is, Maxwell?
Because a snake bit him, and then McGee is like a McDonald's combined with G. I don't know.
Yeah, he actually was bitten by a rattlesnake and hospitalized.
Some McGee hospital or some shit.
No, McGee has nothing to do with hospital. I'm just saying he was bit by a rattlesnake. So you know how like he liked to play with snakes? Like that wasn't just an online brag. I mean, there's videos or photos of him playing with snakes. So he was bit by a rattlesnake before and hospitalized, almost died. No thoughts
That's
at all on that, Maxwell?
that's interesting. Well, I mean, that's great. He's playing that he I don't know, whoever that famous guy that got killed by a stingray. I don't know. He's playing that dude. So
Stingray.
I don't know. He was some famous dude on Animal Channel. He was swimming in the ocean, and the stingray stung him, um, stabbed him in the heart and killed. I don't know. It's a long time ago. But it's that Australian guy. This just plays with like every animal there is.
Steve Irwin.
Yeah, that's Steve Irwin. That
Yeah,
he's a
the crocodile hunter.
yeah.
Yeah. So what's telling though is Kenny Veach, after this incident, he continued to play with rattlesnakes. So this guy is not just some kind of play actor playing tough in YouTube videos. He does seem to be a genuine adrenaline junkie adventure type personality where danger, he doesn't seem put off by danger. I mean, he hikes without a GPS with limited supplies. He's very some people would say use the word reckless in his hiking approach. However, he's very experienced and very good as well. And a lot of these types of people with these personalities are in fact very good at their craft, which some people say that overconfidence leads to their demise. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, say that one more time.
A lot of people that are kind of adrenaline junkies or adventurers or simply just very good at their craft, they're overconfident. And people who die, even Steve Irwin, I mean, they're obviously very, very skilled at handling dangerous animals or dangerous situations. However, that kind of seeming recklessness could be the cause of their demise, the overconfidence.
Yeah, it happens to a lot of people. Oh,
For,
he's saying like he was walking in the desert and like
well,
he
for example,
he
well, for
came
exa-
across a rattlesnake and just decided, hey, this I'm gonna play with the snake, and then it got bitten and died.
but then where's his body?
I don't know. It's a big land. I don't know.
Well, where the supplies that he brought? I mean, he had his clothing, probably a pack of some kind. He did have some supplies that he brought with him. All anybody found was the cell phone by the mine, which, yeah, why would he leave it there if he's going for the M cave? Which, as I postulated in part one, the M cave could be a red herring because even if he was out to find it, or what if he just changed his mind? If he was out hiking, he wanted to do something else. He didn't want to look for the M cave. He was like, oh, maybe I'll go over this other range over here in this area. But that still doesn't explain the cell phone. So, yeah, but what I was saying before, though, he's obviously very, very good at desert hiking. He can cover great distances in very small amounts of time.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was just saying that he's obviously confident, but was he overconfident? And did that lead to his demise? If he's dead and didn't run away and start a new life.
Yeah, it's a possibility. That seems to be the pattern.
All right. So one other thing we didn't discuss. So remember how he was very adamant that nobody would ever find his body if he did commit suicide?
Yeah.
Well, apparently, from some comments online, if this is true, he was actually the one that found his father's body after his father committed suicide. So that could have potentially, well, not potentially, I'm sure that was very traumatic. So that would probably cause him to say if he ever committed suicide, he would never put someone through the trauma of finding his body.
Oh man, that's a good theory. That's really good. I actually didn't know about the father. Maybe you mentioned it the
I
last time, but
mentioned that his father had committed suicide, but I did not mention that he was the one who found the body, if that's true.
I see. That's an interesting that's interesting information. Definitely that could have something to do with it.
Well, I'm sure that was the cause of that statement if he in fact did make that statement. So yeah, I don't even know if we have a date here. So the article that I read last time said that his father committed suicide when Kenny was in his early 20s. I think someone else might have said it was when he was 19. But yeah, these are again, this is another example of why is there so little information about Kenny Veach? We can't even narrow down. I mean, what was his father's name? Was there an obituary? None of this stuff is available online, as far as I can tell. I've done a bit of digging, but there's really not much out there. Any thoughts on that?
Um, mm, I don't know. I mean, what do you expect though? Like, I mean, maybe do you expect like a social media account on the guy, or I mean, I
No,
don't know what records.
for,
I
for
mean, if
example,
I look,
for example, in any other missing persons case, just about, we can find all this information about people, the parents' names, obituary. We
oh,
can
I
find all
see.
this. We can't find
Yeah.
anything about Kenny Veach or his family.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, where are his friends? Why are his friends not? Yeah, it's just it's bizarre. It's bizarre. There's just very little media coverage, almost none. Okay, so a couple of people have actually been searching for Kenny Veach repeatedly. So they've gone through the area many times. It's definitely a dangerous area, but what I found was an interesting post by Jeff CLA from a few years ago. So here it is. To solve this mystery, we need to decide if Kenny was purposely misleading in his last video or if he just had a natural tendency to overstate things. If he intended to be misleading, then that whole video is full of false clues. If he just innocently overstates things, it makes all the leads in that video worthless as real clues. One, look at the maps that I have posted, then watch all the directions that Kenny's pointing to, and you will find many mistakes. It is possible that he was just bad at directions, but he was a long distance hiker after all. So that's really bizarre because this guy's saying that based on landmarks and roads, he's either saying things that are false on purpose to make it look like it was the middle of nowhere and more dangerous or cool than it was, or he really doesn't know where things are in relation to where he is. I'm not sure how possible it is. He could just be so reckless that he doesn't feel the need. Like, or it could be he's that familiar with an area. Like if you have a normal drive to work and someone asks you, well, which road do you take to get from here to here? You might not even remember the name of the roads because you're so familiar with the area. You just kind of go by what it looks like. And you might not really know. That's the first thing I thought of before condemning him to being, completely incompetent at directions. If he's that familiar with the area, he might not necessarily. I mean, I don't know. That's more of a stretch because you're hiking in wilderness. It's not like there's 50 million streets. Whereas if you're going to work, there's so many different streets. But if you're just going by what it looks like, you might not know which road is in relation to somewhere else, especially if it's not your hometown. So if you commute to another town or you're visiting a friend that you visit many times, you might have gotten the MapQuest or GPS a couple times. And then after that, you kind of you memorize one exit and you go by what everything looks like, not necessarily memorizing all the names and the relation to other landmarks or cities. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I would be completely lost. So, I mean,
You mean in what I
I,
just in what
I,
I just said, or in terms of relations to landmark, or both?
in relation to landmark, I mean, I get lost with many landmarks.
I don't.
So
For some
if I,
reason, Maxwell. For some reason, I don't think our listeners are going to be surprised by that. Maxwell's a master of getting lost both figuratively and physically.
um, yeah, people actually do that toilet paper thing, right? Like they do like the toilet paper thing, so they know where they went and stuff. Like so they follow a pattern.
I don't really know about that. What do you mean?
Uh, and so, like people bring toilet paper, so they put toilet paper on trees, so they track their paths.
On trees. Yeah. Yeah, or whatever. Yeah.
That's a good method. I mean, I that's something I would do. But then if you have to go to a restroom, then you run out.
Well, if you're in the desert and there's just large sections of open desert, I mean, I guess you could leave it on the cactus, but or yeah, it's
Well, I thought it was kind of weird, but then again, I thought about it. Wait a second, toilet paper is actually a good idea. It's good for the environment. It's not like, because it's gonna decompose and disappear within like, a month or two.
Yeah, so that's definitely curious. So, okay, Jeff CLA's point two, he says no roads and no trails. Kenny drove his truck into the area on Alamo and Joe May roads, and the mine is on a trail that starts near the end of Joe May Road. And all of these things can be clearly seen on Google Maps. So is he lying to make it seem more exotic, like he's in the middle of the desert in the middle of nowhere? Or is for some reason he's not considering these roads? I mean, that's kind of strange, right? Because the people that have been there and searched, there are clearly roads and trails right there, and he says there aren't. As if he's making it for this just a more sensationalist, or it just makes him seem like more of an adventurer going in these middle of nowhere areas. I don't know. What do you think about that?
That's very interesting. I mean, kind of deceiving. Uh, that's kind of rough. So he's making these YouTube videos where it looks like, oh, he's out of like nowhere, but if you really go beyond that, like there's like paths and trails and streets. Is
Well,
that
I
what you
mean,
mean? That's what you mean, right?
well, they're not that close by, but he's just painting a picture that it's the middle of nowhere, which if you read about the case just from the outset, it does sort of sound like that. But Las Vegas is not that far, 10, 20, 30, 40 miles away, the top of North Las Vegas, but and there are roads not that many miles so away, and so yeah, it's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. Other people have described Kenny Veach as kind of like a storyteller, so he embellishes things, so not necessarily lying about anything, but he just likes to weave a tale. So I guess that could explain it, or for whatever reason he's not thinking about it. Maybe he uses the word road in terms of major, highly traffic highway. Because people that have went to search the area, some of them said they never saw another person there ever. So even though there are roads and trails, the people that went to search for him, they said on their searches they never ever saw anybody else hiking there. That's kind of creepy, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that far from Vegas. You would think it'd be a more popular destination, maybe. I don't know. I don't live in Vegas. So have you been to Vegas, Maxwell?
No.
I have been to Vegas, and yeah, I guess most people just stay on the strip and gamble when they visit Vegas. But and well, the locals, they just I guess that's their hometown. But yeah, for whatever reason, there was not people do not report those trails or roads being traveled highly. Okay, he also says that Picture Canyon is a good place to go spelunking when extensive searching has not located even one deep cave there. So this
What's
is
spelunking?
spelunking.
Yeah.
It just means exploring caves.
Oh, that's a new word for me, at least.
Oh, come on, man. I thought that'd be one of your hobbies. Maxwell Powers expert spelunkerer.
Ah. Wait. So, what does it mean? Just hiking around?
It's just the exploration of caves, as in a hobby. You just go,
Ah,
kind of like, so
I found
hiking.
myself a new hobby.
Yeah, so hiking is, you're just walking or traversing trails, whereas spelunking, you're specifically exploring caves or caverns. So the distinction here is caving is specifically done for surveying and documenting in terms of more to the area of researching, whereas spelunking is kind of like tourist based recreational exploring. Just for those wondering what the difference between caving and spelunking is. So, okay, what does that tell us? So, there are no deep caves in the area. So, does that make us think that even his claim of the M cave, going to explore it, does that mean that that cave that looks like an M in his video isn't really that's not the one? Because the cave that he's talking about was big enough to enter, whereas the people that have searched this Picture Canyon area say that there's no real caves there. None. So the only other thing I can think of is if he was confused, and especially if he's not good at directions, if he's a Maxwell Powers type of hiker, then maybe it was a different canyon altogether and not Picture Canyon. Maybe it was a lot farther. Maybe that's why he hasn't been found. Maybe it's on some of the restricted land that belongs to the bases. That would explain it even more. If he got lost and maybe he didn't even realize he got lost, but then accidentally made his way back on a trail, thinking he was somewhere else. If he thought he was in a different canyon than when he was, and somehow it just worked out that he got back on the path, so he didn't realize that he was mistaken, would that account for it?
I see.
I mean, obviously, this would have to be predicated on him not being good at directions, which, if he's not sensationalizing in the video and he really is poor at directions or landmarks or just not detail oriented in general, then that could possibly explain it. It could possibly explain why the M cave have not been found and he has not been found because he was actually somewhere other than where he thought he was. Or if this is some kind of weird interdimensional area or government experiment with stargates or any kind of gateways or even some kind of mind control technology to disorient people, especially if this is an area that isn't highly traveled, if this is just not a popular hiking area and they only get, one or two or three people every couple days or every week, whatever it is, that would be good to experiment on because of situations like this. Every once in a while, someone goes missing, people don't ask a lot of questions, but could that cause the person to become disoriented, go to an area where they think they're not, or they think they're in another area? That might possibly explain it. I don't know. Or he just made up the story because that area doesn't have any big caves. So if there is no weird paranormal or government funny business going on, then he just made up the cave and this is all sensationalist and there is no M cave and we still don't know what happened to him. But okay, so point 4, he says at one point that the M cave is up on the side of a mountain. Then later he says that M cave is near ground level. Which is it? Well, I mean, that inconsistency I think can be explained if the M cave is really big. So if the top of the M's, the two M points, are very high up on the side of the mountain, which caused him to spot it from a distance, but that the entrance could be near ground level or one of the entrances. I don't know if it's an uneven M. We don't know. That point actually isn't, I don't find too strange. But Jeff CLA also goes on to say, listen to his video closely and keep these inconsistencies in mind and see if you can solve any of this. It may help to solve the mystery if someone can figure this out. My view is that Kenny had to know that most of what he was saying was not true, but I cannot tell why he said it. So what do you think, Maxwell? Do you think he was just telling a tall tale?
I don't know.
Or what do you think?
I don't know, man.
What?
I had a hard time tracking that. I have a hard time remembering what the things that you said to your points.
He said the M cave was up on the side of a mountain. He also said it was at ground level. He also said there were no roads and trails. There's not a lot to remember here, Maxwell.
Oh, that's it. So, and what I think about that, like, I
The
don't know, he's not
inconsistency,
lying.
the inconsistencies.
Wait,
Because
what was inconsistent about that?
there
He
are
always
no
talk.
roads and trails when there are.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, but I already talked about that. I
I
said
know.
it
Now
was
we're
weird.
summarizing. We're summarizing now everything we talked about.
Oh.
So he said the M
Okay,
cave.
well, okay, it's a little bit weird. I mean, I guess he does have that ego thing where he wants a little bit of attention, like he's this crazy adventurer. When in fact there were trails, or it could be this. Maybe he was exploring something and he didn't notice the trails and he went off an unbeaten path. Is that how you say it? You know what I mean?
Oh,
And then
that's what I mean. It's well, he's talking about the area. Yeah, it is kind of tough. He's talking about the area, but the trail, there is a trail that goes right to the mine though. So he seems to be making generalized statements like there are no roads and trails, but there are. It's not like he went into some deep little corner and then said, "Oh, there's no trails or roads in this little corner." He didn't say that.
Oh. Oh, so he wasn't being specific. He was just being general.
Right. That's why it's inconsistent, because in general there are roads and trails
Yeah.
in that whole area, in the whole
He's
area.
not being. Yeah. He's not being very wide scope in his, or should I say, he's not. Uh, he's not being clear. That is,
Yes.
and he's just letting. But I don't know. It's kind of like, I mean, if he's being honest, he's not. Then it just means that he was just being. He's just saying it like how he experiences it, not necessarily trying to deceive.
Well, I
Because
don't know.
he
Some
because
people
he already is adventurous. I mean, he's crazy with snakes, and he's got videos of that. So it's not like I mean, he plays with snakes, so he doesn't have to prove to the world that
Well,
there's
hold
no
on a
trails
second
around
though.
here. That
People,
means I'm
yeah, but
adventurous.
if someone's personality type is to weave tall tales, they're gonna do that with everything. So obviously they're not liars. They just exaggerate to make it seem even more of a tall tale.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, I wouldn't dig that deeply into. I mean, it's like a
Well,
I'd make note. Of it, but like,
this episode is about the psychological aspects of the case. So we
okay,
are
gotcha,
digging deep.
gotcha.
We are digging
Um,
deep.
uh, hmm,
So Jeff CLA seems to think it's very relevant, and I think so too. I think it definitely leads clues, even if it's not ultimately what happened to him. I think if we can't view his this video, this MK search for the MK video, I think we have to keep in mind that there are inconsistencies and that he might be weaving a tall tale, and we can't take the video completely literal as gospel truth, every word he says. That's my point here.
okay.
So if he's weaving tall tales, some people also suggest that he wanted to commit suicide or start a new life. And he wanted the attention, so that's why he made the video. And then he disappeared, and now he's sitting around laughing somewhere or just enjoying that people are discussing the M cave that doesn't exist and his mysterious video that he left on purpose. From watching his videos, I don't believe that's what happened. I think he seemed like a genuine grounded guy to me, like a good guy, very smart, a lot of ingenuity, he's coming up with inventions. He just seems like a really, I don't know, that was my impression, is that he's a really good guy and he wouldn't do something like that. He just got caught up in YouTube and he wanted to prove that it exists, especially if it was some kind of weird government experiment or paranormal occurrence that was kind of that he was simply a victim of and didn't realize it. So he might have been telling what he believed to be the truth about the M cave, even if there's no M cave, or the M cave is interdimensional or whatnot, or this was simply implanted in his mind and it doesn't really exist. So anyway, I'm just pointing out that some people think that he made the video as kind of sort of like a hoax or an exaggeration. For example, the M cave in the video might be the M cave, and then if he did it on purpose, he didn't mean to show it in the video. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but uh did he not explain the MK like more specifically, like they're really tall? But actually, you thought that
He
the
said it
M's.
was big enough for him to enter, but it's not clear whether he's talking about which part of the M. It wasn't
Uh,
specific enough. It wasn't specific enough to say it was the most gigantic M, or if it only the largest part of the M was enough to enter and it seemed kind of deep. But from the people that have explored that Picture Canyon area, they say there's no real caves there. So you can't really enter any of them. They're just very shallow and small. So like maybe for animals, but not for humans. So yeah. Anyway, so I think the psychological aspects of Kenny Veach are relevant.
gotcha.
Other people say that that area could have been subject to flooding, so the ground level there could have been an issue there, or if there is some kind of weird underground cave system where certain rocks could be blocking it, or if the flooding caused movements or rocks or cave entrances to be blocked, so then that wouldn't be spotted. And even the shape of the M cave is now subject to speculation because it might not always look like an M.
Yeah.
That's all you got?
Well, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that's all I got.
I didn't consider that before, but yeah, also different lighting conditions. Lighting conditions can cause shadows. Was the M? How close was the M cave? He was approaching it, then he started vibrating. If we factor in the shadows in the canyon or in a nearby mountain or even his own shadow, I don't know, depending on what kind of mental state he was in, could shadows account for the M shape, in which case people looking for an M cave would not find it, or they would only find it at a specific time of day due to shadows.
Ah, that's that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So it might not even necessarily be a red herring, it just might not look like an M, and that's why nobody can find it.
So like, I see. Like it could be a certain angle, like looking at it, like or from a
Yeah,
different height.
yeah.
Like if you're looking up, you see an M, but if you're looking from another position, maybe at a higher point,
Yes.
not an M.
Yes,
So
also a possibility. And of course, the position of the sun. So, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. Other people speculate he might have actually crawled into that M shaped cave or a different cave, and then his movement might have caused the cave to become blocked by other rocks. And that's why he's not found. So he's actually in that area. His body or remains are still there, but it's been blocked by rocks and nobody's been able to notice exactly where due to, yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how many caves are there or how deep they're explored, but that still doesn't explain the cell phone, does it? It does not explain the cell phone just being
yeah,
placed. It was just
yeah,
placed by the mine, which is quite a distance from where the Picture Canyon M cave is. I still think if something distracted him and then he, at that moment, he didn't care about the M cave. Or like, what if? So remember, in part one, I postulated that if there was some kind of, due to the it being a nuclear test site, if there was some kind of mutated humanoids or monsters living, what if one of them cried out for help from the bottom of the mine, and Kenny Veach wanted to help them? Or if it's a serial killer that preys on hikers, or and he's hiding at the bottom of the mine. It's unclear whether they climbed all the way down the mine. It seems like they did, or at least they used some kind of robot or device with a camera. They dropped it down to see. It's unclear how far that mine shaft goes or whether or not it connects to other shafts. So if Kenny Veach, let's say Kenny Veach heard someone at the bottom of the mine. So an experienced hiker, they would mark their position, right? So did he leave his cell phone as a marker that he went down the mine to try to help somebody just in case he didn't make it back up, so people would kind of see where he was? That would
that's
be
a
the,
yeah, that's a good. Wait, did anyone try to go into the mine to look for him?
it seems like they did, based on, because how could they not? How could you do a third, especially when his cell phone is there? So it seems like they must have gone down, but the question is, are there interconnecting mines, or is there a blocked entrance that they didn't notice? Or something hidden where it can possibly connect to other mines? Because supposedly there's dozens, if not hundreds, of mines in that area. Some are known, some are unknown. How far do they go? I don't know, but
So are mine tunnels like kind of, do they weave out, or do they branch out, or is it just one that goes deep? Does that make
well,
sense? Like,
I believe, I mean, in general, both. So it depends on it depends on which and where. I haven't explored those, so I don't know. I'm saying it's possible they might connect to other tunnels, but the connection might be blocked off, or there might have been some kind of a mudslide or flooding effect that caused something to block or not be noticed, and he's beyond it. But in terms of the cell phone placement, if he's not there for suicide, he would leave his cell phone, if he did, especially if he didn't have anything else. He would leave it there as a marker, so if anybody else found the area, they would say, "Oh, that's his cell phone." Especially if they look at the cell phone. So was that a marker of him saying, "Oh, I went down the mine shaft," just in case something happens and he doesn't come up, so somebody could rescue him?
yeah, that's a good point. I like that idea.
I mean, I can't think of any other reason. Why else would he do that?
Yes, yeah, because it's not like you can make an emergency call inside the mine, so you leave it out as a marker.
Right, especially because someone can identify the phone as yours.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So Jeff CLA also points out regarding the inconsistencies in the video, if he's making the video kind of like a vlog and not specifically designed for others to follow and search, then he wouldn't, the inconsistencies, it's more of just his personality quirks. Because he's just making more of a day in the
Okay.
life video instead of a here's how you find the cave video.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So he also mentioned that the cave that looks like an M is only a few feet deep and that it has not been caved in or blocked. That most of the caves in Picture Canyon are dug out depressions that were used by ancient Indians.
Wait, he said it's only a few feet deep, the M cave?
Yes, the one in the video. No, this isn't Kenny Veach who's saying this. This is Jeff
Oh,
CLA who searched the area.
okay.
He's the one
So he
talking about the inconsistencies.
Oh, I see. But he did find somewhat that resembled an M.
He found the cave in Kenny Veach's video that looks like an M.
Okay.
He's talking about
Is that the
yes.
one we were talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but to me it just didn't look like a freaking M. So like I kind of like.
Okay.
So
The cave that I think looks like an M in the video. This
yeah,
is
gotcha. I just didn't think it like people would agree with you as me. So
yes, a lot of people think it looks like an M because it actually looks like an M.
it's not an M. It's a fucking like Dracula looking mouth.
It's an M. Anyway, so he's saying that this is not caved in or blocked. It's it's either a dugout depression that was used by ancient Indians as roasting pits or old time miners who dug out some ore. So he's saying these are not natural, big, large natural caves. So the whole area is.
Yeah, it looked like a fireplace. It looked like a chimney or something. Not a chimney, but the fireplace that goes into a chimney.
So someone else is saying that this is a flood zone. So silt and rocks are constantly being moved around and it could have blocked the caves.
Gotcha.
However, Jeff CLA says that it looks like it hasn't changed in 20 years and that southern Nevada doesn't get that much rain. And when it does, it runs off the mountains very quickly. So he said that the desert and dry creek beds do get flooded at rare times, but once you're up in the mountains, there is nothing to hold the water. So that's also very interesting. They also discuss either a cougar killing him, a rock slide, or falling off a cliff. Jeff CLA says they are all certainly possible, as those are the things that I worried about out there. Gravel on top of sloping bedrock is not the safest thing to walk on, especially above a vertical drop off. Falling and getting wedged behind a large boulder on impact could hide a body for years. The military idea comes in when people see that the restricted borders for the bombing ranges and secret bases like Area 51 begin only 10 miles west of Picture Canyon and extend for 100 miles north and west. So this is interesting, but 10 miles is still a lot, especially in desert. So to cover that amount of distance, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's likely he just left? So he left himself. Okay. What if, let's not fall for black and white fallacies. Let's say, what if he heard someone or he was hallucinating and he thought he heard someone crying for help from the mine shaft? So he leaves his cell phone on top, goes into the mine shaft. Now, one of two things happen here. Either he does happen to have some kind of interconnecting tunnel that goes way out, possibly to Area 51 or the bombing range area. And he either comes to the surface or doesn't, and something happens there, or he climbs back out of the shaft and for whatever reason does not collect his cell phone and continues on his way. Is it possible he forgot his cell phone? Because if he left the cell phone as a marker, then he climbs into the shaft, climbs out. If an animal caught his attention, or I don't know, this seems unlikely, but what if he wasn't alone? Do we know for sure he wasn't alone? What if he met another hiker out there? I postulated this in part one. If someone else had it out to kill him and they knew he was going out hiking there, they could have planted the car and the cell phone. But let's say that's not true. What if he met someone there? Someone who might have not even intended to harm him, but there either was an accident or something happened or the other person's a lunatic and they were friendly, but then the person snapped or had a psychotic break and then killed Kenny. So we don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, we don't know, and those are possibilities. So yeah,
I don't
so
think
I
anybody.
mean that place is not frequented, right? Like by
Correct.
hike. I mean, well, there were trails, so
Not
I guess
often. Yeah,
that's
the people that went searching out there said they have never seen anyone else there. Now, I don't know how many times they went to search. I'm sure it wasn't 100. So they went out there a couple times, 5 times, maybe even 10 times. They never saw anybody there. So it's definitely not an incredibly busy, according to these people, it's not a very busy hiking area. It's not the Appalachian Trail.
right.
Some people say that it's too, that they wouldn't search out every single mine and search it. So, I mean, I don't know. Would they? If you're on a search team, you're looking, I mean, you're providing closure for families. Are you going to intentionally see a mine and not search it? I don't know. But are you going to go out of your way to document every single mine? I don't know. But he left that cell phone in front of that specific mine.
Yeah,
Someone else made an interesting comment. They said that the M in M cave means mine cave, as if once again a burrow for excavating ore, and it wasn't, he didn't mean natural cave, so he was using an M as an abbreviation for mining cave or mine cave.
that's interesting. I wonder if anyone else like labeled a mining cave with an M.
I mean, again, we talked about this in part one, the speculation that he went out there to kill himself. Even if that's true, how does that prove that he didn't meet someone else there who killed him and covered it up? Because once again, or not even in serial killer, if it was some kind of mentally unhinged person, or maybe it was a normal person that simply was suffering from delusion. What if they were dehydrated, had some kind of weird psychotic break, and killed Kenny? Or there was an accident and Kenny got killed by accident, not on purpose, and they hid the body somehow, or they took the body with them. What if Kenny went down the shaft, left his cell phone, someone else was there, he followed that someone else killed them, put him in their car and drove away, leaving Kenny's vehicle and the cell phone. Or if Kenny met someone there and they harmed him either intentionally or by accident, they took his phone and left it on the mine, near the mine, as kind of to throw everybody off track, and that they took Kenny in their vehicle and left somewhere.
I see.
I mean, I think we need to think outside the box a little bit. Who said that Kenny's out there? He might not be out there. Even if he didn't go and, yeah, even if he didn't go and kill himself. But yeah, so some people really think that Kenny is deep in one of the mine shafts because animals wouldn't necessarily find him there, or if he was on the surface, his body would be found. Any other thoughts, Maxwell?
Um, no, I don't think we know enough. I don't know. There's not enough information.
I mean, I think there's a decent amount of information. The cell phone that was found. Well, yeah, actually, you know what? Speaking of that, how do we know that Kenny placed the phone there on the day he disappeared? Theoretically. Okay, I hadn't thought of this. Let's say Kenny went hiking, Kenny came back, went home or somewhere else, someone killed him, drove his vehicle with an accomplice back to the parking area and then left the cell phone there, and Kenny was never even there that day. Or he left alive and someone else checked his phone with the texts saying that he was going to go hiking there, so they left his car there and his phone there. How do you like that, Maxwell?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because who said we don't have proof on when the phone was left there, do we?
Yeah. Huh. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we can't assume that it just happened to be left there when Kenny went there, if Kenny went there. Hmm. The other interesting thing that there were no tracks next to the cell phone. So Jeff CLA explored that area. He also found some a skull placed on a mountain of an animal, and he said there were no tracks near the skull. So somebody placed it there on a rock, but I guess that area gets windswept, so there wouldn't be, for whatever reason, there's no tracks. Now that's kind of curious because if there's no tracks, then it's kind of hard to tell when what was left where and who was when. Like that's kind of difficult to track people if it gets windswept, right?
Yeah. What do you mean by windswept? If just the wind just take everything out?
Well, if the wind is moving around all of the desert sand and it would cover tracks as like, like footprints or whatnot.
I see what you mean.
So, final comment from Jeff CLA on this issue. I spent a day in Picture Canyon, and this other searcher spent almost 2 days. Neither of us found any caves deeper than 10 feet. That is part of the problem. I cannot find any mention of caves in the Sheep Range. The things that look like caves from a distance turn out to be more like depressions up close. Kenny claiming that the area is a spelunker's dream is also baffling, considering that he had been there several times and that he knew there were no deep caves there. Or he went in and camouflaged the entrance behind him. Okay, that's an interesting theory if he did it on purpose. So I discussed earlier if there was some kind of a mudslide or some kind of boulders moving or falling that covered up the entrance. If he covered up the entrance behind him on purpose so nobody would ever find the M cave or him, but here's the thing, if he doesn't want to be found, he wouldn't be talking about the M cave. So if he went into a cave that's not the M cave, but why would he even be in that area? Here's the thing, if he's committing suicide and he doesn't want his body to be found, would he go to that specific area to commit suicide where he left a video showing that he's searching for an M cave in that area, increasing the chances that somebody would find his body in that area?
Hmm. Hmm. Well, you're saying that's it's illogical for him to, I don't know, repeat what you said.
Okay, so he made a video about searching for the M cave, right?
Okay.
So he's showing that area, Picture Canyon. He's showing the mine area in the Sheep Range, so we can figure out where he is. So if he's committing suicide, would he go do it in an area that he showed in a video where he knew people would coming to look for him if he went missing? Think about it.
I see, and considering what happened to the dad and what the thoughts
Right.
are
So if the
with that.
theory is he's going to commit suicide and he doesn't want anybody to ever find him, would he go do it in an area where he left a video showing the area? The general area.
I see what you mean.
Unless you want to go even deeper into psychological mind games where he's just playing games with the viewers and he really is going to kill himself there, but it's like a taunt that he's going to show the area and nobody will ever find him anyway. But I find that highly unlikely unless he's really, really insane, because it seems like if he was really that traumatized by finding his father, he wouldn't want to leave clues to where someone could find his body. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So very, very perplexing case. And I actually didn't really view this case as being a series, but there's actually quite a bit more to uncover. In the next episode, we'll actually be going over the actual searches that were done in the area by different people and see if we can find any other traces of an M cave, especially with newer searches being done all the time. That is a fascinating area. Kenny Veach seems to have turned into a legend, and some people suggest that's what he wanted, whether he committed suicide or not. If he's alive in a new identity, he wanted to go out from his previous identity in legend form, in tall tale form. Is that what this is? I don't know. I don't really think so. I didn't get that impression from his videos. What do you think?
No, I don't know. I mean, if he's not, then he did a good job at doing it.
Yeah. All right. We hope you enjoyed another edition of MindShock True Crime. If you like the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you like to hit the like button, feel free to share it. Like our Facebook page. You can also check us out on Twitter, Reddit, Patreon. This is Bruce McGuire signing off.
And Maxwell Powers.
We'll catch you guys next time.